Aloha, I'm Yanji Denise. Welcome to Get Your House in Order, the show where we help you take care of the things that matter most. In this series, we cover a wide range of topics from health and wellness to financial readiness and preparing for every phase of life. Today, we'll be focusing on wealth building. How do we focus on long-term financial security while still paying the bills that are right in front of us? We're joined by Paulette Ito of Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union. Paulette, building wealth is different than just having a job and making money.
Yes, there are oftentimes people will have a job and they spend every single penny of it and they don't save for the future or for other expenses. They need to build their wealth, not just spend all their money.
Yeah, and so how does wealth building intersect with Get Your House in Order?
Wealth building will help you achieve all your goals. When you have your roadmap and you say, I want to be able to travel or buy a house, you need to be able to start planning for that and start saving your money so that you can attain your goals.
Let's talk about some of the tools you have to help us attain those goals. Tell us the Ho'okele guidebook and some of the other financial services that you have.
Yes, so talking about the roadmap, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union with Get Your House in Order created a guidebook called the Ho'okele. We have guidebook 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. Currently, we have 1.2, just came out. It talks about the present, all your different assets that you may have, your insurance, your DMV records. Those are everything that you have presently. And this, by filling out the guidebook, you'll be able to see your roadmap, everything that you have. And then you would be able to assess your situation. Say if you wanted to, like I mentioned, going on vacation, or even estate, one you want to plan for the future for your loved ones. What do you have? And wealth building is a very important part of that.
Yeah, and we tend to think of wealth building as something that's just for rich people.
No, it's not, because when you think about it, everyone needs some types of savings to get them through emergency situations. I think according to the experts, they say that you should have at least 3 months worth of your income saved just in case for a rainy day. And that's wealth building. That's being able to have a safety net, something that you can easily have liquid and be readily available.
Okay, all good tips. Where do we find the guidebook and learn more?
Come to our website at hificu.com.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Coming up after the break, a wealth building expert will join us. But first, let's hear firsthand why it's so important to start this kind of saving.
Aloha, my name is Patrick. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii, and I'm one of the writers for the Get Your House in Order campaign. I'll be reading Kai's story, one of our viewers that wrote in to share his experience. Growing up, I had bad dyslexia, and my parents decided to homeschool me so I could learn at my own pace. That turned out to be a good decision, as homeschooling helped my learning and development without a lot of stress. I was very lucky that my mother was able to do it, and willing. But when it came time for high school, my parents thought it might be a good idea for me to re-enter public school so I could spend more time with my peers. That turned out to be a lot tougher than I had thought. I went for 2 days and then literally freaked out about everything. I felt paralyzed with fear and felt unable to keep up academically with my friends who all seemed to be so far ahead of me. The whole situation was very stressful for me and my parents. For years, my mom's job was homeschooling me, and at some point she wanted to rejoin the workforce again. And I didn't want to be the one to hold her back. But deep down, I knew I was not going back to school. Of course, my parents were worried about my future, so my father told me I needed to find some kind of work if I wasn't going to attend high school. I started working at a coffee factory for 2 days a week, spending the other days continuing the homeschooling with my mom, which enabled her to take a part-time job. I worked with the coffee company in various aspects for over 4 years, taking occasional breaks. After working for several years, I was sitting on a decent amount of savings, so my father introduced me to a portfolio money manager. His main advice is that there's no secret sauce for financial success. Instead, he encouraged me to work hard, to make extra money, put it in the right place, and be patient. Shortly thereafter, I started my career in the food and beverage industry. I began learning the restaurant business from the ground up, and over time started making good money as a busser. But I wanted to make serious income, so bartending became my goal. Even though it was highly competitive, within 1 year, I became a barback and then a full bartender, and I've loved it ever since. I work 5 to 6 days a week and continue to pour a lot of money into my investments. Overall, I'm very happy with my life choices so far. I'm absolutely not knocking the college experience, as that path clearly works out well for many people. The path I chose has left me with no college debt, as well as the ability to live on my own and be well on my way to a solid retirement fund before age 30. You know, being smart with your money and planning for your financial future is an important part of keeping your house in order. For more information on how to keep your house in order, go to hificu.com/GYHO. My name is Patrick. Thank you very much.
For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com.
Welcome back to Get Your House in Order. Joining us now is Hollie Kamai, Vice President of Electronic and Support Services at Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union. Hollie, welcome.
Thank you.
So we all know what it is to make a living, to cash a paycheck. How is that different from wealth building?
Well, wealth building is for the long term, right? So when you are working, you're generating income, but you're looking to set yourself up for bigger goals, long-term goals in the future. And so you can do that by, getting an extra job. Also, you want to have a plan for savings, and you want to be informed about investing, right? These are all the building blocks that are going to help you achieve those long-term financial goals.
And tell us how wealth building looks different depending on where you are in life, age-wise. So in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, how should you approach wealth building?
Right. For every generation, depending what phase you are in life, it's going to look a little bit different. But I think the key is to know at least 3 things. So number 1 is you want to start early. And the earlier you can start, the better. Building wealth over time is actually, it's on your side if you start a lot earlier. The second thing you want to do is, life is full of ups and downs, and everything is in seasons, right? And sometimes you might have different seasons of your life where your situation's different. So my second tip would be to be steadfast, right? Even though you get some setbacks, trying as hard as you can to put that little aside for those long-term goals. And finally, you want to be informed. You want to make sure that you are understanding what you're getting into. There are so many resources out there to help you achieve your long-term financial goals.
When folks watch this, they might think, I don't have enough money for wealth building. Hawaii is so expensive. We have so many costs. How much should we actually be saving? And even if it is just a little bit, that does make a difference.
Well, in my time at the credit union, I've seen people come in and start with as little as $5 every paycheck. And as they earn more, I've seen them multiply that amount over time, right? And that's the key. It's actually being consistent, being, like I said, steadfast, and committed to that long-term goal, And so you don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to start somewhere, and starting early is the key.
Mm-hmm. Is there a sort of formula that you use? Is there a percentage of your paycheck that we should be putting away, or is there a specific dollar amount we want to have in our rainy day fund and beyond?
Well, actually, it is a great rule of thumb to have at least 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses saved in your savings account. And that's important because you want to have that rainy day fund should you have unanticipated emergencies arise.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I hear you talk about savings and starting with like $5 a paycheck, it sounds kind of like working out at the gym, right? Just building that muscle, if you will, that saving muscle. Let's talk about how we start that process with our children. How early should we start this concept of money management with them?
Actually, you should start it as early as possible, right? Because you're giving them the tools that they need to be able to be successful on their money journey, right? On learning how to save money. And at the credit union, we have products and services for people our members in every phase of their life, from birth through retirement. We have our Kids Club account. I'm sure that we as parents, we want to start them off on the right foot, right? And so our Kids Club savings account is for newborns to 12 years old. And it's an incentive savings, right? So as they save and they attain their savings goals, they earn tokens, they receive all of these wonderful products that make it fun for them to save. And the reward is what actually teaches them that savings can be a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm interested to know, because of course most kids have a piggy bank in their room or someplace that they like to put that little extra money, maybe from the tooth fairy or for grandma. Why would you recommend engaging in a formal institution like a credit union as opposed to just putting that away in a sock drawer for our children?
Well, for number one, they get the prizes, right? So that's the incentive. But also they're earning dividends, right? If you have it in the stock drawer at home, it's not earning anything. And as they grow, for our younger adults, we have our Advantage Savings Account. Okay, so this is for youth between the ages of 13 to 22. And it helps them to kind of establish independence when it comes to their finances. That's about the age that they should start practicing these things. And then when they get to be 16, they can get our Advantage checking account. They'll get their first credit card, their Visa credit card, right? And these are all things as parents, we want to set them up for success, right? And once they amass their fortune, then they can start investing in some of the other products we have, like our VAP money market account. Now that's a tiered savings account that'll increase dividends as their balance increases. So it's a good thing for them to have. Another option for them is our share certificates. Now, share certificates are a little bit different from a savings or checking account because it is a times account, right? And so they select a term that they want to lock their funds in for. For instance, like a 12-month certificate will earn higher dividends than it would in a savings account. And it also has an advantage because if you're locked in at a higher rate and the rate environment changes, you still earn the higher rate, right? So there's many things that we have for all ages.
Our conversation with Hollie is just getting started. Stay with us. You're watching Get Your House in Order.
Wealth building. Wealth building is setting aside money to achieve your long-term goals. The 3 pillars of wealth building are income, saving, and investments. It's always best to start building wealth early in life and remain steadfast in your long-term financial goals. Always inform yourself with the best resources and professional guidance. Rainy day funds. Rainy day funds help protect against unanticipated emergencies. It's best to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved in a savings account. Setting aside even small amounts of money adds up over time.
Long's Drugs is always here for Hawaii, providing your family with their local favorites, accessible health and wellness services to keep you safe and healthy. Make Long's a part of your day.
Welcome back. We are speaking with Hollie Kamai of Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union about wealth building. You talked a little bit about savings. Let's talk about investing. How do we know how to navigate that world? For a lot of folks, investing can be pretty intimidating.
You know, it is, and actually there's a lot of information out there on the internet. You just need to be careful. You just need to know what feels comfortable, your comfort level, right? There's a lot of ways that you can research something before you actually invest. So it all depends on your comfort level. There's so many resources. The credit union is actually a resource for you. We do have certified financial advisors who can actually help you navigate and map out that journey for you.
And, you know, when you look at the savings, I know that you said around 3 months of sort of, you know, your living expenses you want to have saved. How do you know how much wealth you're going to need in the long term? That seems, I know that's a really personal question, but how do you kind of figure that out, ballpark, okay, I need this much to retire, this is what I need to be growing toward?
Well, you know, like you said, it is very personal. Financial wealth building is not just it can be immediate. It could be, I want to purchase a car if you're a young person, right? So you have to kind of know what it is that you want to attain, and set your goals that way. So it's going to be different for each person, but like we said, 3 to 6 months of expenses, having that set away will help you in case you experience a setback.
Mm-hmm. We focused a lot on young people and on kids. What if you don't have as much of a runway? Are you ever too late to start saving?
No, it's never too late to start savings. We do have at the credit union individual retirement accounts, right? And of course you can start that when you're younger, but a lot of older folks who are going to retire, they need to know, what do I do when I retire? My company wants me to take out my 401k. What do I do with it? Well, you can roll it tax sheltered into an IRA at the credit union. And while it's sitting there, you can decide what you want to do, right? We have individual retirement account certificates, which earn a higher dividend rate. And again, tax sheltered. So these are little things that everyone may not know about, but we do have something for you at the credit union.
What is the number one thing you hear from folks when they have this conversation with you? It sounds like, for the most part, they all wish they started younger.
Oh, that's the number one theme. It's start earlier, also be informed. They wish they knew a little bit more. As you get older, you say you get wiser with time, right? We wish we knew a little bit more earlier, and then also just being disciplined with actually putting away and investing in yourself, because that's what you're doing when you're putting away funds in your savings and you're thinking frugally for the long-term goals.
I love that, investing in yourself. As opposed to thinking of it as a sacrifice, you're really helping yourself in the long run.
You are.
Okay, we'll have much more with Hollie. She's going to share some more advice when we come back. You're watching Get Your House in Order. Stay with us.
It's never too late. Everyone wishes they started younger, but it's never too late to start saving. Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union has individual retirement accounts and individual retirement account certificates. Saving for your future is investing in yourself.
Windows Hawaii. Trust Windows Hawaii.
Welcome back. Hollie Kamai is here to talk to us today about wealth building. Hollie, we talked about investing, but some folks might be a little risk averse and might not want to take that risk on. Are there other ways to save money where you're still making a good return, but not necessarily taking out all that risk?
Well, at the credit union, I would definitely suggest a share certificate. A lot of people may not know what that is. And basically, it's just a time deposit, right? So you select a term, you make a deposit into that term. So for instance, you do a 12-month certificate. It's for 1 year. It's a little bit different than having it in your savings. In your savings, it's liquid and you can touch it. But in the time certificate, you're locking it up and you're going to get the rate that we're paying you at the time. So the good thing about that is if the rate environment changes and the rates go down, you're still earning that rate for the rest of the year. Your savings account will most likely be adjusted, but in your share certificate, you're still earning the higher dividend rate. So people who are adverse, a little bit afraid of investing too much, this might be a great way for them to start out with something safe that they can decide how long or how short they want it to be locked up for.
Yeah, and you mentioned that it's not liquid like a savings account. You can't touch it, so it kind of forces some discipline.
Yes, and it's a lesson learned. We talk about teaching our children young, right? Well, we have to learn too as well. And so if in some situations, if you really need the money, you can take it out, but then you're gonna get an early withdrawal penalty. But it's a lesson as well on how to be disciplined and keep that money locked up for the term that you choose.
Yeah, and so it's not just about the money that's coming in, whether through a certificate like you're talking about or investments. It's also about the money that you're spending and going out. Tell us about the importance of creating a budget and really sticking to it.
Exactly. It's very important to save yourself money, because if you're building all this wealth and you're spending it, then you're never going to achieve your goal, right? And so we talked about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, depending on how you live your life, that might be a lot or it might be a little, right? So if you're frugal, then it's less money you have to put away. And basically, all the money that you're not saving for that rainy day could potentially be used to invest, right? So it's very important that you keep your expenses down. At the credit union, we have many things that we try to save money for our members, right? So we offer free notary services, we offer free cashier's checks. A lot of these things you have to pay for at other financial institutions, but all of it combined is a part of building your wealth.
Right, and tell us a little bit about if I'm saving for something specific. Let's say, the holidays are coming up and I know that, at the end of the year I'm going to want to buy this or that. Or if I'm saving for a car, are there specific term of savings accounts that I could do to kind of force me to save for that specific goal as well?
Sure, we do. At the credit union, we have our Christmas Club account, our holiday account. When you think about the holidays, it's always a mad rush. There's all these sales and you want to go out and buy everything, right? So the Christmas Club actually helps you to set a budget. You put aside throughout the year. In October, the credit union will either send you a check or transfer those funds into your savings or checking. You can begin shopping, but then you've already set a budget for yourself. So it's not this mad desire to go out and spend everything that you've worked so hard to save, right? We also try to save in other ways. We have some of the lowest rates for borrowing money for buying a car, for mortgages, and those sort of things. So all of it together, again, helps you on your financial wellness journey.
This can feel like such a big task. What are some of those mistakes that you see people make, and what's your final piece of advice for the folks who are watching today?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes I see is trying to do too much too soon. It's not a short-term race, it's a marathon, right? So a little at a time is best, actually. Put something away that you don't feel too much. It's not realistic to think that you can put 75% of your paycheck away. You can't live that way. And so try to do something realistic. And again, the 3 tips, right? Start early, be informed, and that will help you along your journey.
Okay, great advice. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And thank you for being here. We appreciate all of you watching today. Remember, you can review this show and watch it again on YouTube or listen as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Yanji Denise. Until next time, take care of yourself and aloha.